Hey everyone, so I just want to let y'all know that I literally just recorded this whole fucking video, full 58 minutes, right? And then I turn around and I go to try to edit it, and it's not in my damn camera roll. It did not finish recording it, it did not save it. So I am literally having to go back and read all of this again and give you my reaction again. So unfortunately, if my reaction seems a little bland, it's because I already read this crap. That, or I'm literally going to be even more infuriated by it because I've had to read it again. Because my damn laptop didn't save it. So welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It is currently 2:30 in the morning. I have a nearly 5-month-old over in the corner sleeping, so hopefully I don't wake her up. I'm trying not to be loud. Hopefully I will be moving next Friday, so hopefully I will be able to make more content and be a little bit more loud and a little bit more out there and open and expressive, because I won't have to worry about having a sleeping infant, in the room with me. I will be having an office, I will get a desk, I will get a chair, I will have a mic so you guys will hear me correctly. But it will take some time, as my husband is a newly started trucker, I am a newly stay-at-home wife and mother, and finances are tight as we have also just bought a house. So bear with me. I know my voice over this crappy mic is a bit tough. I will try to get something in the meantime that's a little cheap, but the mic I'm looking at is like $40, so maybe I can afford it soon. But in the meantime, let's get to the stories. These are all about spouses and relationship problems, because for some reason I'm just drawn to the drama of relationships. Okay, so on to the story. First one. Update. Would I be the asshole for ending a relationship because my partner refused to put my name on our child's birth certificate? Now, bear with me, this story is really long. When I recorded it the first time, it took me 16 minutes to read through this. Not all of it makes sense to me. He kind of jumped from place to place. But bear with me. Okay, so it's been a minute since my last update, and since then a lot has happened. I've also received several message requests from people on Reddit requesting an update. But first, I'd like to thank you all for offering me advice on the matter. I really appreciate it. So in my last update, I shared that I discovered an adoption was being considered. So, girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, got pregnant, saying it is his. He is not sure if it is his. And she is considering giving it up for adoption. Just little context. I didn't go back to look at that story at all. I read through this and that's what I drew. That's where my conclusion was. Well, more so already made. I think that was it for me, and I finally lost it. I said some horrible things, stuff which was completely out of frustration. After talking it over with a friend, Carrie, I recognized my mistake and apologized to Sarah for what I said. Carrie also helped me structure my messages when addressing Sarah so that I come across the best way possible. She explained to me that it was a difficult time and maybe a different tone or approach could rectify the situation. And so, with her help, we made a heartfelt message to Sarah, apologizing and sharing that though I understood it was a tough time, her decision would ultimately cause issues down the line to see our child. She touched on other stuff as well, the best way possible. However, it was to no avail. Sarah responded with a cold and dismissive one. It wasn't until I spoke with a guy who had experienced something similar would everything change. A classmate of mine who had a child and experienced the same thing shared that the best action to take would be to leave her alone. He shared that he recognized when he was in that situation that the other partner knew that they could use this to control him, and so he just stopped overall, and eventually, when she realized it no longer worked, she came around. At that point, I was beyond stressed and depressed, and with every message I get from Sarah, my heart boiled, and slowly I could feel whatever love I had drained from my body. And so after one day, I finally snapped and just stopped. I stopped responding to messages, calls, etc. He says etc. a lot, okay? Within that day, I received over 200 messages and calls. When I finally responded, Sarah sounded worried, said she was scared I had died. I told her I was fine, I just need to take some time, because I don't feel like myself when talking to her. She was super pissed. But after that, the messages stopped, and she blocked and unfollowed me on most things. Days went by, then weeks, and by then, me and Sarah barely spoke. During that time, I realized I smiled more, and I felt lighter. I also started hanging out with Carrie more. We would talk about the kid, the next approach, etc. Carrie and I had been friends for the majority of my time at college, but got closer in my final years. After time, we started going out for lunch, and we spoke at length's end about the baby, life, our dreams, goals, etc. I broke down a few times when I thought about how my life was, but despite that, she was there. She encouraged me to check up on Sarah occasionally, etc. This went on for weeks until it hit me that Carrie had the qualities I was looking for in a partner. Now I know what you're thinking, and no, nothing happened because my life is pretty full right now. I shared with Carrie my thoughts and how I viewed her changed, to which she responded that she only saw me as a brother, and I was like, okay. Yeah, okay. If I'm just your brother, fine. We'll stay there, right? We still hung out, called, etc., until I realized Carrie's behavior changed. She started getting pissed when I spoke to other classmates who were girls, etc. And, well, I guess you can tell where that headed. We spoke about it, and ultimately we decided not to pursue anything until I was sure of the child's paternity. She shared she wasn't ready for that type of commitment if the child was in fact mine, which I completely understand. Nonetheless, we still hung out until one night I received a call from Sarah. She shared that she thought about it, and she realized where she had been selfish and acted poorly, and she thinks it was the hormones or fear. This was around 7 to 8 months ago. She also shared that she thought about it and wants us to get back together. She misses us and wants the baby to have a united family. She shared that she is willing to compromise by allowing the child to have my last name, but I won't be on the birth certificate. At the time I received the call, I was with Carrie. So real quick, my thoughts on that is she doesn't know who the dad is. Like, if you're not fully sure, she may not be fully sure. So she may not know who the dad is, and you are probably the best option. You probably, because you're in college, you're getting your shit together, you're going to be making decent money once you're out, and she would like somebody to be her meal ticket while she probably stays home and takes care of the kid, or until the kid's born and she can go back to college herself or something. The moment she starts making good money, you're gone. Whether that kid is yours or not, she'll probably just take you for child support. Do not sign anything until you are sure of if you are the father or not. After the call, Carrie remarked that she wants her man back, so what do I want to do? I told her I'm not sure what to do. She then advised me to tell Sarah that I'll give her my answer after exams, as currently my interest is geared in passing my finals. For reference, it was my final year, and it was extremely important that I pass these exams, as my scholarship could be revoked, which would put me in debt. I shared with Sarah, to which she said she understood, etc. My finals were in May, and after that I'd leave for J1 again, but in a different state. During the period leading up to exams, me and Carrie would hang out, study together, encourage each other, and she'd offered me advice regarding the baby. And also encouraged me to check up on Sarah, etc. Eventually I sat my finals, aced them, and then it was the big day, graduation. It was great. Carrie and I took lots of photos. My parents were there, everyone, even Sarah streamed it online, which I was surprised. I graduated with a bachelor's in education. Afterwards, Carrie and I went on a date, and honestly, it was nerve-wracking, but was still great. Though we didn't call it a date. We got food and were matched in red, etc. And before you know it, time passed, and it was time for me to head back to the States. However, I kept thinking about what Sarah said, and how I felt, and what it would look like if we were to ever get back together. And so at the airport, I gave her my answer. I explained that though I care deeply and want a united family, I can't see myself at peace in a relationship where my opinions and feelings are not valued, etc. Additionally, I want to get married, and she doesn't. And to add to that, her family doesn't like me, and with how easily influenced she is, no one will ever have my side. To which she asked if I'm being serious, and that she didn't know not being on the birth certificate was such a big deal. And we can do it, etc. However, I told her it was too late, and then I had to hurry to catch my flight. I arrived at the States, and at that time, Sarah had returned home. We spoke occasionally, but with work and everything, little time was there. However, Carrie kept ensuring I checked in with Sarah, check on the baby, etc. We would video call, talk about the baby plans, how to deal with Sarah, etc. At which point, Sarah started showing more interest too. Which leads me to a current predicament I'm in. Sarah texted and shared she doesn't know why she was opposed to marriage, and that she wants to do it and wants us to work, and she realizes she was wrong, but she's trying now, etc. Carrie also shared her thoughts on marriage. If the child wasn't mine, that being under 2 years of dating, much like how I always wanted things, I've been transparent with Carrie throughout the whole thing, and we had made plans to purchase a paternity kit and get the test done after birth, which was a month away. Till then, she shared that I could be supportive and encourage check-ins, etc. Again. So, again, it seems like now your attention isn't on her. As your friend in the beginning had said, like whenever he stepped back, all of a sudden the attention was directed at him. And she's not shrugging you off anymore. But the problem is she can sense that your attention is with somebody else. Probably Carrie if she knows about her. Which you guys are friends, so I assume she does. So she is going to try to get you back because she's miserable with her life. She got pregnant. You got her pregnant because it takes two to tango. And here you are. There is a baby on the way. And she needs somebody to help. She needs somebody to help financially and physically and mentally. Because honestly, having a newborn is tough. But it sounds like she has her family. So, good for her. So fast forward, I purchased a paternity kit from Amazon Lab and shipping included, and was now waiting for birth. I'm not sure how good those Amazon paternity tests work, by the way. I'm just not sure. I've never had to do it. Sarah's family decided it was best to use their last name due to family insurance coverage extension, etc. However, the compromise was I could use my last name as the child's middle name and discuss the first name. We made a list of first names and added it to her list, to which she said she'd go through. Carrie and I loved the name Kai, and it was one of the top contenders, all to which Sarah agreed. During a doctor checkup, it was discovered that Sarah was hypertensive and that this pregnancy was high risk. She eventually had to be induced, which lasted 3 days, and on June 18th, our son was born. Do not say our son. Do not admit to it being your child until you know that you are the father. Just saying. I was working 3 jobs and was extremely worried. At times I had breakdowns, etc. and I wanted to fly in to be there. However, due to my contract and how last minute it was, I wasn't able to make it. Originally, I had anticipated a July birth and had planned to give my employer a 2-week notice, but with the induction, the little guy was here much sooner. Both Child and Sarah are okay and recovering. I'm ending my contract early in August to fly there to see the child and get the test done and know once and for all. But before the birth, I had shared with Sarah that I want to get a test done, to which she wasn't opposed, but offended that I'd even considered it. She also lamented that it was a waste of money, but sure, being my guest. She is confident that he is in fact my son, so we will see what happens. Carrie was extremely worried for Sarah and called every minute for updates during birth. We are both happy she is okay, and she was more delighted than I was to see a photo of the little guy. So she may be coming around to the commitment of possible stepmotherhood, I guess. I know that is down the line, but still. He doesn't resemble me, but I know genetics are crazy, so the only way to know is a test. I thought we would name him Kai, but Sarah decided he doesn't look like a Kai, and she knows Kais, and instead chosen to give him what I describe as a white name. I don't know. Despite my attempts, her persistence exists, and in the end, I guess the compromise we arrived at was she'd slap in my suggestion in the middle name as well, just like the other one. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Slowly I feel myself getting more resentful towards Sarah. I know you might be saying it's just a name, but for me it feels as though my wishes, feelings, everything is all being taken for granted, or not even valued. Why bother asking me for a choice and opinions if you're always going to go with someone else's ideas? I don't know. Maybe I'm the asshole. Also, we are keeping the child. I've bought diapers, strollers, and other essentials she'll need. An agreement we've arrived at is we'll do the name attachment to the birth certificate during my visit. So there is that. But that's it for now. I'll update you in a month. I have spoken with lawyers as well, and it is a tough situation. The fees are sky high, and me not being a citizen does not help. So, real quick, sounds like she's gonna do the birth certificate herself, put the name she wants. I guess she'll find out in August. I will be keeping track of this for my own personal gain. I might make an update about it later on this page or on TikTok probably. This is on the Judgmental Honesty Reddit page. I have been kind of scrolling through other pages and just kind of sharing them to it so I can keep track of some stories that I want to read. So if you are the original writer, the OP, sorry, I just kind of moved it so I could keep track of what I was reading. If you guys want to post on there, go ahead. I will read it. But the thing is it sounds like she's literally just using you. You are probably her best option. Do not sign anything, and honestly, I wouldn't even take acceptance over this, considering she wanted to put him up for adoption in the first place, and then all of a sudden it's, no, we need to be a happy family. Oh wait, no, I want to get married now. Oh wait, I want you back after everything. Don't fall for it. There was a comment that said, bring a paternity petition asking you to be declared the father. Get court-ordered visitation, otherwise you will always be at her mercy. So, yes, make sure that you get visitation, because otherwise, if it is your kid, and you are the father, she may try to use it over your head, not let you see the kid, and then go after you for child support. Or anything else. Stop buying stuff for a kid you don't even know if it's yours. This girl is taking you for a ride. She refuses to acknowledge you are the dad, yet you are taking all the responsibility. Either walk away completely or go through their court system and get a paternity test and fight for custody. Don't allow her to use you like this. One person even agreed with me. Her other baby daddy candidate bailed. Here's the final comment I'll read. Honestly, getting this close to Carrie only for it to not work if the kid is yours is probably not the best. If the kid is yours, it's going to be a tough break for you guys. And with Sarah, with how flippant she is being, I wouldn't marry, settle, or anything with her, even if the test is positive, unless you guys have some couples therapy appointments to see if this is even something that could work. Forcing it for a kid could just do damage to the kid. Good luck, man. That sounds like a lot. So, yeah, don't marry for a kid, because you can co-parent as best friends 10 times better than you can co-parent as parents that don't really care for each other. You were already saying that you feel some resentment towards her, and you might. So don't get with her. Don't marry her. Just be there for the kid if that's what you want to do. So I'm going to go on to the next story. Am I the asshole for going off on my husband for not Am I the asshole for going off on my husband for not defending me? Hi everyone. This is my first time on Reddit, let alone posting. So excuse me if this post is long. For context, I, 24 female, am a Chinese-born American living in New York City. I am not your typical Asian, as I am naturally tan, on the heavier side. I vape, I have tattoos and piercings, and am a bartender by trade with a decently sized bar in the apartment I rent with my husband. My 27 male husband is from Nepal and is currently interning in IT at a pharmaceutical company and has been in the US for about 9 years, with the first 2 years being in Minnesota before moving to New York City. When he was in Minnesota, he had smoked weed and cigarettes, tried Molly, etc. He has an older brother who I met, is out and proud, and lives in Canada with his boyfriend. The rest of my husband's family is in Nepal, including his parents. We have been married for a little over a year and have been together for 2 years. His parents, after a couple years, finally managed to get their visa approved to come to the US to visit us late this past May, while departing last week. We were both obviously very excited because it would be my first time meeting his parents in person, and it would be my husband's first time seeing them since he's been in the US. My husband hasn't been able to travel outside of the country due to his visa, and his brother frequently comes to New York to visit and came down to visit us for this occasion as well. For his parents, his father works for a city job in Nepal and normally drinks whiskey and scotch. He loved the bar since I had stalked with Macallan, Jameson, and Johnny Walker, etc. While his mom is a stay-at-home wife who doesn't drink. Overall, I thought that the stay went really well, despite the language and culture barrier, with his brother telling me that both of their parents liked me. Both his parents gave us gifts from Nepal, which included traditional clothes, snacks, and a couple bottles of rum. When it was time for his parents to leave, and my brother-in-law was dropping his parents off at the airport with my husband, their mom was going off about how I was a terrible influence on my husband for not being a more traditional wife, and not being able to come with them to say goodbye. So, being a traditional wife is not for everybody. I'm trying my best. There are some things that may not work for me, but I will be sure that when my husband is home, he will have warm food on the table ready for him. He will have a clean house and a clean bed to sleep in. I will make sure that he has breakfast in the mornings and lunch at noon. Because when it comes to it, he is taking care of me and our daughter. He is providing for us. The least I can do is keep the house clean, keep his laundry done, and cook for him. But you work. You have a job. You working works better for you. And that is okay. Being a traditional wife is not meant for everybody. I wasn't able to come with them since I had work and couldn't get the time off since I had just started recently. His mom was telling my husband that he should divorce me and to go back to Nepal to get married to someone who's going to stay home and cook or clean for the family. Doesn't stay out at odd hours of the night, I'm a bartender, and isn't going to encourage him to drink, play video games, etc. I found this upsetting considering the fact that my husband told his parents about me being Chinese, having tattoos, piercings, and my job when we started seeing each other, which they were fine with. The only person who defended me was my brother-in-law, who explained that they were being unreasonable and if they could accept him for being gay and having a boyfriend who's from Thailand, that they could accept me as well. When my brother-in-law told me, I thought that I would have a talk with my husband for not saying anything, as he apparently didn't say anything during the whole conversation, and merely shrugged his shoulders. When I asked him what happened the next day, he told me that he didn't want to say anything to upset his mom and was apparently in shock that she would say something bad about me. When I tried to ask him why, he didn't defend me. He backtracked and said that maybe she's right. I may be the asshole here, but I did go off and tell him that if it wasn't for me, he would be back in Nepal with little to no job prospects and having his mom wash his back. After that, he ended up leaving the room and going back to our bedroom, which he ended up locking. Now we're not talking, and I'm currently sleeping on the couch. Am I the asshole? No, absolutely not. He did not defend you to his parents. He married you. You guys are now part of a separate family. Yeah, they're his extended family, and by that, your in-laws. But you guys have come together and got married and are your own family. So either they need to accept you and accept the woman he married that he loves, or they can kind of back the fuck off. Like that's just how it is. Here's a comment. Maybe she's right. What the hell? Fuck him all the way. He's the asshole, not you. Not the asshole, but hubby is. Your husband is a spineless asshole. Exactly. If he's not going to defend you and not going to act like a husband, then just leave him. Obviously, you're better off without him at this point, and without you, he would be stuck. So that is his problem and not yours. Okay, so here's another one. The edit comes first on this. I'm going to read the edit last though. Am I the asshole for letting my ex-boyfriend dump me when he thought I had massive debt? I have been keeping an Excel workbook for years that I use to organize my personal finances. Every month it shows the total expenses, total paid, and total remaining. It's not only helpful for budgeting and remembering when stuff is due, but also removed a ton of anxiety I have around money and the nightmares I used to have that I would forget to pay something important. I used to have panic attacks, but they were cured by Excel. Every month I put about half the money I make into savings. IRS, HSA, vacation savings, quarterly tax savings, and emergency funds. My only debt is about $500 of a surprise $1,500 vet bill and my car loan, which has a payment of $200 per month, and which will be paid off next year. I could pay off the car and vet right now, but having an emergency cushion that could pay all my bills for 3 to 5 months makes me feel safe. I give myself a weekly allowance of $150 that I can spend however I want. Dates, movies, going out with friends, etc. Since my ex and I were becoming a little more serious after 6 months, we had a discussion where we decided that if things progressed, our finances would be separate, and if we moved together, we would both pay half of all expenses. This would save us both a lot of money monthly. Well, he used my laptop where I keep the Excel document minimized. He accidentally brought it up, and here is where the conflict began. How do you accidentally bring up an Excel document? Even if you got it minimized, you have to go over there and click on it. How did he accidentally open it? It sounds like he saw an Excel, probably labeled money management, and he decided to go snooping. Okay, so I put everything on my credit card every month. I really want to be able to travel, and getting mile rewards is the only way I can justify the expensive flights to the places I really want to explore. I put everything, rent, groceries, gas, utilities, even my quarterly taxes on it. Last year, I was even able to redeem a ticket for a friend to go with me to France. I covered all the flights as well as half the Airbnb. I can't put the car payment or vet bill on the card, but everything else goes on my miles card, which I then pay off a couple days after paying my bills when the balance settles. I put the amounts that would generally equal my credit card balance after paying bills in the spreadsheet as well, mainly as a reminder to pay the balance because I'm paranoid that I'll forget to pay it 1 month. Remember, this is a therapeutic spreadsheet. However, he saw all my expenses laid out and the total at the bottom and thought my expenses were nearly double what they are, since the total includes the credit card payment. I guess he also assumed that the credit card payment was the monthly payment or something, which would have made the balance insane. He also noted that I have Macy's, Victoria's Secrets, and Best Buy lines in the spreadsheet, and he assumed I had maxed out retail cards. Although the amount to pay was at zero, I just leave them to remind me of the due dates. In the case, I use them to get something discounted. So he stewed on it for a few days and then sat me down and said that he had been thinking about what he found and told me that he couldn't stay with me if I was going to be irresponsible, and that if I didn't start calling every credit card I had right then in front of him to cancel and shred the cards in front of him, then he would break up with me. He kept talking over me about it. I tried to tell him about my savings and the fact that my actual debt was less than $4,000. He didn't believe me, called me a liar, and said he couldn't trust me, so he dumped me. Good riddance. If he's gonna snoop through your shit, he needs to fucking leave. If he can't read a fucking spreadsheet, that's on him. I cried with some friends who were shocked since I have sat down with several of them who have asked to help set up a similar system of their own and help pay down debt and start saving. I guess the truth got back to him. He was mad that I let him break up with me. Even though he makes more than me, I am much better off than him apparently, and he is really upset since if we moved in together, I would have been completely capable of covering my half, and he would have liked that. I had a pretty large chunk in savings. I had also told him I would get us both tickets to Italy for our 1-year anniversary. So now he knows you got money, and that he can kind of gold dig off of you, kinda. He can take advantage of you, more or less. Save money of his own, and then have you pay for extra shit. I honestly don't know if I'm the asshole or not. I could have explained the situation more clearly and calmly, and been a little more forthcoming and transparent with my finances from the start. However, the moment I was confronted, I felt completely blindsided. I felt like my privacy had been violated, and I felt that receiving an ultimatum without even hearing me out was a deal breaker for me. But now my friends are expressing that I may be passing up a nice guy over a misunderstanding, and that if his assumptions were correct, he would have been right. I feel like I don't want to spend time with someone who would talk to me that way, but maybe I should work a little harder to make it work. Am I the asshole? So no, he went snooping, he talked over you, you couldn't even tell him that you could pay off your debt, that this is just how you have your spreadsheet. You couldn't explain anything. He did not give you a chance. That is not your fault. That is his fault. He should not have been snooping. Edit. Went to work and am now shocked at how many people responded. I want to say thank you to everyone who responded. I haven't even begun to read through everything, and I doubt I'll be able to reply to everyone. Money is a very loaded topic for me, and I was concerned that I was blowing something way out of proportion and would regret it someday. I really appreciate getting affirmation that I'm making a good decision. It's made me have far less anxiety over the situation. I'm going to see some of my friends this weekend, and I think I'm going to tell them that I am done with the relationship, and I am also done second guessing myself. I don't think I'll get pushback. My friends are just worried for me. I may update after that conversation if there is anything interesting to report back, and if I figure out how to make an update. Finally, I've been asked many times for copies of my spreadsheet. I don't know how to share them, and even a screenshot feels weirdly private, like uploading a picture of my underwear drawer. My advice, and the advice I give friends, is to start with just entering your bills and the amount you pay. Copy that sheet to another tab and add from there. Adapt it to your own preferences. I started with a savings counter where I updated the grand total of how much I had across different savings after contributions every month. But it actually did the opposite of motivating me. The number never felt like it was growing, and it's way more rewarding to me to check the balances individually and see them grow that way. You may be the opposite. One friend uses a bullet journal style with pens and stickers because Excel overwhelmed her and she felt more mindful copying things by hand every month. Make your own spreadsheet. I think it's an important part of the process. But start. It may be wrong, but you'll find what works for you. So, good for you. If he's going to talk to you like that, and if he can't even read a damn Excel, that's not on you. Good for you. Here's some comments. Do you want to commit to a guy who can't read an Excel doc? Exactly. Can't read Excel and delivers ultimatums. Looks like a guy with upper management written all over him. He's trying to manage you. He's trying to be controlling and tell you where your damn finances should be going. Like, y'all aren't even married. It would be different if y'all had a joint account and all your bills were together, but y'all aren't even living together yet. That is not his place, and he went stooping and then wouldn't even let you explain how your spreadsheet works. Can't read an Excel doc, delivers ultimatums, talks over you, and snoops? Hard pass. Not the asshole. Exactly. Good for you. Don't put up with him and his bullshit. Okay, here's another story. Am I the asshole if I stop planning holidays with my husband's family? Backstory. I, 30 female, have been with my husband, 31 male, for 10 years, and always had a fine relationship with his family. They're generally nice to me, but a bit standoffish. I think that's just their vibe. Since my husband and I got married 5 years ago, I've made an effort to help plan things with his family like I do with mine. Every time it's one of his parents' birthdays, I reach out a week or two before to both of his parents and his siblings to plan a dinner or having them at our house to celebrate. Even for my husband's grandma's and grandpa's birthdays, will I do this? Plus Mother's Days and Father's Days. Here is the breaking point. The past weekend for Father's Day, my husband was unavailable in the afternoon, and so I reached out to brother-in-law and sister-in-law, father-in-law and mother-in-law, and let them know that we would be able to do something at night or in the morning before or after my husband's appointment. They all said to just let them know. I was busy that week and told my husband it was his responsibility, which it should be, it is his family, to figure out what we were doing for Father's Day with his family. Sunday came along and my husband called his dad in the morning and asked what he was up to, and he said that brother-in-law and sister-in-law were at the house having breakfast with him. They had not reached out to my husband and I, not even a text to invite us as well. And this isn't the first time. In November for my father-in-law's birthday, my mother-in-law reached out the day before and mentioned that they have had plans for weeks to go to lunch with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. And since we asked about their plans, we could just come with them. At this point, I am feeling petty and told my husband that I'm no longer planning any events for his family. If they are going to do stuff and not invite us, then I'm not going to stretch myself thin to put in effort for these people. Especially when my sister-in-law gets a gushy Facebook post every year for her birthday, and I don't even get a text for mine. My brother told me he agrees with me, but that it's kind of an asshole move. Do we agree with this? Okay, you are not the asshole, but your husband should be dealing with his family, just like you deal with your family. So You need to ask your husband, do you want to do something with your parents this year for their birthday or for Father's Day and Mother's Day? And if he says, yeah, then he needs to figure it out. You may need to push him, but he needs to be the one putting the effort in for his parents. That is not your responsibility. It isn't. It just isn't. Now about the whole Facebook post for birthdays. You're not their daughter. You are the daughter-in-law. So they may not make posts for you. The best I get is a happy birthday text most of the time too. Every once in a while I'll get a happy birthday, happy B-Day, the automated happy birthday thing where you just kind of click it and then press post on Facebook. But it also seems like maybe they may not like you, because it doesn't seem like they have an issue with people. It just seems like they may not like you or your husband, or something just isn't off, because they always go places with brother-in-law and sister-in-law, I guess. But the fact they were like, well, you guys should just come along for the father-in-law's birthday, that's kind of rude. So I don't know what to tell you. Tell them to kiss your ass, I guess, if they complain. Wait till they're like, oh, you guys haven't been around very much. We haven't seen the kids in a minute. And then be like, well, we reached out and you never reached back very much. The phone goes two ways. Okay, so here's a comment. Info, why isn't your husband planning anything? Why does it all fall on you? Again, that needs to fall under your husband taking care of his own family. A reply to that, sounds like OP liked doing this, but realized it wasn't as appreciated as assumed. I'm sorry, OP, my dad does the same thing to me. OP, I have been in your shoes, not the asshole. Okay. This entire post is premised on the assumption that it is the wife's job to maintain the social calendar for the couple, regardless of whose family is involved. That's a practice I would back away from regardless, not the asshole. So that goes again with the husband should take care of it. Okay, here's a response to that one. You're making some assumptions here. Like, if you don't plan an event, people will not feel loved and appreciated. This is a big assumption. It is possible they feel loved and appreciated in different ways every day. Do you only love your husband if he plans an event for you, or does he show you how he loves you and appreciates you in many ways? You say 3 things in your first paragraph. 1, I have a fine relationship with his parents. 2, they're nice but standoffish. And 3, that's just their vibe. Do you know these things for sure? Is it true with everyone, or is it possible they are different people when you are both around? When you both aren't around? Is it possible they don't want a celebration as much as a quiet cup of coffee, but they are too reserved to come out and say so? Some people, especially older ones, take much more pleasure in quiet routine than special events. So maybe they are trying to play nice and not hurt your feelings. I don't know any of this is true, but it could also fit from what you have said. Maybe sometime in the future, send them a card telling them how much you love and appreciate them. See how they respond. It might give you some insight, and let your husband take the lead with his family. Final point, your brother is wrong, not your job. It's not an asshole move. You do need to step back, and something that you need to learn from this is you and your husband got married. You brought 2 families together, but the thing is from there, you are starting your own family. So from the roots, you brought the roots of a family tree. Imagine. There's roots, those are the parents. You come together to make a stump. And then when you have kids, they branch out, create their own families, and then those branch out. There's a reason it's called a family tree. And it is not your responsibility to take care of his family, to take care of events with his family. He needs to do it. He needs to step up. If he wants to be in their lives, he needs to do it. So I'm going to read one more. This is one more really long one, and then we'll be done. Would I be the asshole if I told my husband that his lack of attraction to me is his problem, not mine? My son turns one this month. Since he was born, I've been the primary caregiver and do the majority of the housework. I work full-time from home, and I have no help with the baby during the day. The days I go into the office are even more overwhelming because I still have to come home and manage everything. I'm exhausted all the time, and I'm on 200 milligrams of Zoloft for pretty significant postpartum anxiety and depression that wasn't caught until 4 to 5 months postpartum. I eat well, and I'm not sedentary, but I'm also the heaviest I've ever been. Before I had my son, I had lost over 100 pounds and was working out 6 to 7 days a week consistently. I want to get back into it, but between working, caring for our baby, and keeping the house going, I just don't have the energy right now. I also pay for almost all of my household expenses. Everything for the baby, most of the groceries, and all the bills except the mortgage, which my husband covers. He complains that the house is messy, but only does laundry. He won't fold it. And might help with other chores if I ask multiple times. So, he says the messes aren't his, so they're not his responsibility. But they're not just mine either. Okay, you work full-time. He works. Household needs to be split 50-50. And honestly, everything needs to be put. I would suggest splitting everything 50-50, creating a joint account. Not for your individual money, but for your bills only. And go from there. Recently, he told me he's no longer attracted to me and that I've let myself go. He said I should care about myself more and that I can't claim postpartum anymore because our son is almost 1. He said my brain is just broken and says I just need to fix it. We almost never have sex anymore, not because I've turned away from him, but because he says he wants to be attracted to me first. That he can't be intimate with someone he's not attracted to. I've suggested we start making healthier choices together, eating better, moving more, supporting one another, but he never follows through. Instead, he just keeps criticizing me. Sounds like he's pretty ugly too. In all honesty, it sounds like he's a piece of shit. He doesn't help. He doesn't cook. He don't clean. He'll throw the laundry in the washer and dryer, but he won't do anything with them. So it sounds like he's pretty disgusting as well. I'm honestly at my limit. Would I be the asshole if I told him that his lack of attraction to me is his problem to deal with, not mine? And that if he can't move past my appearance or be supportive of what I'm going through, I'll take our son and stay with my mom while he figures out what he actually wants from this relationship. I'm not trying to be vindictive. I'm not threatening divorce, but I need a break. I just feel like I'm carrying the weight of everything, physically, emotionally, financially, and being told that I'm the one who needs to do more. Would I be the asshole? No, he needs to help. You guys both work, you guys both pay bills, and there's only so much that you can do. He needs to be helping and taking care of the child as well. Like, this is not just your responsibility. It takes 2 to make a baby, and it takes 2 to raise it. My husband comes in on the weekends from trucking, and he helps me with our daughter. He will feed her. He will take out the trash. He will take care of her while I go shower. It is not just your responsibility. Edit to add. Thank you to everyone who commented and messaged. I've read through so many replies and I wanted to share a bit more context since a few common questions came up and I think some nuance got lost in the original post. My husband hasn't always been like this. When we first met, I was a bigger girl then too, and he never once made me feel unattractive or less than. He also used to carry his weight around the house, cleaning, cooking, showing up in ways I could rely on. We've always had different love languages and communication styles, but we really tried to meet each other in the middle and make our relationship feel safe and supportive. A lot of things shifted suddenly. Right before I got pregnant in September of 2023, we unexpectedly took in 2 cats as fosters. I never ended up finding homes for them. My husband hates cats but loves me. Around the same time, I got pregnant unexpectedly due to birth control failure. We were unsure if we were ready for kids at all, especially given that we're still fairly young, not as financially secure as we'd hoped, and our house is very small with only 1 real bedroom and what was my closet, now nursery, lol. But I was not open to termination, and we committed to becoming parents together. So it sounds like he's resenting you because you weren't open to termination, but that is something that y'all need to agree on. Too late now, obviously, but you will never be ready for parenthood. In all honesty, me and my husband were trying for 6.5 years, finally got pregnant, and it was right when we decided my husband was gonna go get a CDL, go to trucking school, and I was gonna continue working at the same warehouse that we had been working for the past going on 5 years, and I was gonna pay extra on the mortgage while he dealt with everything else, because he wants to be the main provider, and I was just gonna pay extra on the mortgage so we could get it paid off in 5 to 10 years instead of 30. Well, got pregnant, and we both communicated and agreed that it would be better if I was a stay-at-home mother, because you just can't trust anybody now. So luckily you have an at-home job, but you still work. You cannot be cooking and cleaning the whole house while you are working a full-time job. I don't care if there's no travel time or anything, because you are also having to take care of a child in between all of this. So he needs to step up and he needs to help. This is when the cracks in our relationship really started to show. I want to be clear. My husband is a great father in many ways. Our son absolutely adores him, but he mostly gets fun parts. Playtime, cuddles, giggles, while I handle the tantrums, the wake-ups, the blowouts, and bedtime routines. The endless messes, all after I've cooked, cleaned, worked a full day, or finally sat down to breathe. I've become the default parent in every sense, and I don't think he fully sees it. I do think he's struggling too. I think he's overwhelmed, and I don't know how to ask for help or even admit how hard this has all been for him. But instead of opening up, he lashes out at me, at my appearance, at the messy house, at the version of me he seems to resent. And that's what hurts the most. It feels like I'm doing everything, financially, emotionally, logistically, and yet I'm still the one being told I'm not enough. So no, I'm not looking to blow up my marriage or run away. I'm just tired of carrying the entire load and being ashamed while doing it. I still don't know exactly what I'm going to do next, but I'm leaning towards spending a little time at my mom's, just so I can breathe, reset, and decide what I need from this relationship too. Thank you again to everyone who reminds me that my needs and struggles are valid, and that being a mom doesn't mean sacrificing my entire identity or well-being just to keep the peace. So you may not be as depressed if he would actually help. It seems like he wasn't ready to be a dad, and he is pushing all of this on you and has completely shut down. I do suggest going and staying with your mom. That way he can realize everything that you've done for him and maybe start missing you a little bit. And we'll go from there, Just reach out to him after a week. Or wait till he reaches out to you. And if he doesn't reach out after 2 weeks, I hate to say it, but divorce is on the table at that point. Okay. He doesn't sound that attractive himself. What does he even bring to the table? If I were you, I'd ask for a separation. To start, you're a single mother that pays most of the bills anyway. You won't be losing much. Girl, you have 3 jobs and supporting him, and he's complaining. You need a best friend to ask you what the fuck. Your kid does not need this. You do not need this. He should move out because he can't afford the house. He doesn't get partial custody until he can prove that he can keep his apartment livable for your son. I like this comment. Want to lose weight quickly? lose the 200 plus, just a guess, pound man-child. You're already basically a single mom. Exactly. You are taking care of everything, and he is being unappreciative and showing you that you aren't important to him. That he is able to get away with not doing anything but throwing the laundry in the washer and the dryer and then playing with your kid. He's not doing any of the hard stuff. He's not changing a diaper. He's not making a bottle, or I don't know if you're breastfeeding. You could be breastfeeding, but he could change the damn diaper. He could take care of the kid once you're done breastfeeding, so you could do something else. So maybe you could go shower and relax. You cannot have a beautiful, attractive wife unless you help out, because that wife needs time for herself to make herself beautiful and attractive. Otherwise, you're just going to get a resentful wife that looks like trash because there's no time for herself. Well, I'm done bitching. I'm done ranting. Those were some stories I found. All of them are on the Reddit group that I've got set up called Judgmental Honesty. Go ahead and scroll through them. I will still be adding more as I go, and I'll see you next time.